What up, world? Welcome. This is another episode of What's in Your World. I'm your host. Do I have to go through all my nicknames again? Can I pick one every week?
That's what I would prefer. Yes, there it is. I was trying to find a way to integrate the two, and that's a good way.
I am your host, Mr. Perp. And next to me here is my co-host.
Let's see how good the camera is.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It's good.
We got Nicolas Cage in the corner.
Got my little man right here. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Oh shit.
Who are you,
I'm Chaz.
by the way?
Hey guys, I'm Chaz.
This is weird now because we can see ourselves.
I know.
We haven't been able to do that in several weeks.
It
since you
really
got the
kind of
new-
looks weird right now.
Since you got the new camera, or since you got the new
Rig.
Rig, yeah. That's an interesting name for that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm realizing though, as they call them,
Yeah.
rigs.
Yeah, interesting.
You're just rigging shit up, man.
Yeah.
That's
Lighting looks good on you, though, Chaz, for sure. Looks better on Nicolas Cage, though.
He's really well lit. He
Got
is.
to admit, he looks good right there.
I mean, that's a movie that should have been made.
It really is. For those of us that don't know what that is, can you describe that for us? Can you explain what that is?
I don't know a whole
While
lot.
I move the painting so that we can see it on camera.
Sure. Don't get me wrong, I don't know a whole bunch, but I just know this was a movie poster for a movie that was supposed to get made that ended up never getting made. And it was Superman, and it had the one and only, Keanu Reeves as Superman, which is just...
Keanu Reeves?
Oh, sorry.
Nicolas
Cage. Nicolas Cage. Dude, I'm out of it right now. Totally mixing up names and shit. Yeah, so it's just a movie that was supposed to get made that ended up never getting made. I don't really even know how far they got with it, to be honest with you.
Oh, I didn't even realize it got anywhere.
I mean, it was somewhere.
Like, they had actually, started...
They maybe have written it and, casted it and hired producers.
They never shot anything?
They may have shot something. They may not have. I really don't know enough. I don't know that
Interesting.
part of it. I just know it was a movie that was... And that is vague. In the Hollywood world, that's pretty vague.
Right. Yeah.
That could mean a number of things.
It really
but
could.
It really, to me, it at least means a studio was planning it, put money into it, and then decided to bail out of it. That's like the very least, I guess.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, weird.
Interesting.
Dude, Hollywood's a crazy world, man.
That's what I'm thinking to myself right now. As we're talking about this, I'm thinking to myself, are we really about to go down the Hollywood route?
That's up to you, man.
I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to go down that route.
I went down
at
that
all.
road in my life for a long time. I would agree in that shit.
That's true.
So, I'm
That's true.
very well rehearsed on how Hollywood and that industry really lives.
It's
why I got
the
out.
Hollywood arts.
That's why I got out. I could not live like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't. When I idolized it for all those years growing up. I filmed, I've got hundreds of hours of footage. That's like home footage of just shit from being a teenager.
Yeah.
Just
We've talked about this.
Unbelievable amount of stuff. So I had been wanting to do this for a long time, but when I finally got into that life and I started living it, I said, nah, that's okay. I think I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, I experienced that with a different sort of living, but realizing that that's not the life I would like, and that was working in politics.
New
Like
power
the-
to you, man. I could not do that.
The first job I had in politics was great. It was grassroots. It was local. It was super awesome. I mean, I would probably go back into that again.
Yeah.
Maybe volunteer work or something like that. Simply if I support a candidate or something like that, yada yada. But when I got into the more state level, the more federal level, that's when stuff started to get pretty tricky because there was
For sure.
a lot of money involved. When I was working on this small campaign in northern Minnesota, we were grassroots.
Yeah.
Grassroots.
Were you making
meaning
money?
Local fun. I was making money. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was a field organizer.
So you had some people making money and some people
We
that
had
were
and then we would volunteer. Like, so all of our canvassing was essentially to either get support, or like the best thing that could happen out of us canvassing would be getting volunteers.
Yeah.
And so like we definitely pushed for that because we wanted volunteers, and we got several consistent people that were super awesome.
Yeah.
You know, that I would totally reach out to today.
Yeah.
You know, but again, when you get into that deeper level where there is third-party corporations getting involved in the canvassing of a governor's campaign, there's so many moving parts that can get really they can all really easily be manipulated.
Yeah.
And
Put the right people in place and
right.
the rest starts to follow.
Put one white collar criminal in there and the whole thing can become a massive fraudulent scam.
Yeah.
And I've seen it firsthand. There was fraud out the wahoo going on.
You know what the sad part is? You would actually be really good in politics.
I was really good at it.
I bet you were good at that job.
I had a lot of employees.
Yeah.
And I remember
But you didn't like that life.
I could not sleep at night.
Yeah.
I lost 25 pounds when I lived there.
Was it the stress of the job, or was it the life you were having to live that you suddenly realized?
The secrets.
Oh, wow.
I'm the kind of person, I'm going to work my ass off all day, every day.
Yeah.
For the rest of my life. Like,
yeah.
I'm okay with that.
As long as you can. Yeah.
As long as I'm busy, I can be happy.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting around all day, that's not fulfilling for me.
Amen to that.
But, like, when there are things you're being told that you know you can't share, that's when my mind will run amok, and I'll get paranoid. Like, I was seriously paranoid that one day someone would knock on my door and tell me that they had figured it all out, and I would have to go to jail or something like that, you know? Or, you know, someone would come after me.
Can you give me a secret?
I mean, yeah. Like, they had an online system, right, with a bunch of names and, like, social security numbers of, like, people that they had either hired in the past or, like, were going to hire, but they had all these names and information.
Okay.
They would essentially take those and create pay cards with them and then give them to employees that weren't hired through getting a background check or anything like that. So basically they would be like, hey, come work for us like tomorrow. And they would give them an iPod to do their canvassing on. But in reality, like, the name associated with that person is not their identity. So they're getting a pay card at the end of the week that has X amount of money on it. But what they don't know is their name and information isn't attached with that card.
Why?
Because they use a different name, social security number, information to make the pay card so that they could hire and have employees working sooner. And essentially through that, too, you could go even further and, like, one person can have 3 pay cards. They think they're all associated with them, but there's 3 names, none of which are theirs.
They don't know this.
They don't know that.
They just get a blank pay card.
They just get a blank pay card that refills with money at the end of their work week.
It's weird as shit.
And it's political work, right? So it's not long term. It's like 2 months.
Yeah.
Maybe
seasonal kind of a thing.
Yeah. Campaign seasons.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, and it goes way deeper too.
Yeah, yeah.
But
doesn't it
being told by your higher up that if anything goes wrong, he's putting it on you, that was the moment where I stopped sleeping.
Yeah. That sucks, man, because you were just at, like, the beginning of it, too.
Dude, I was 18 years old.
You know?
I just graduated high school, and I thought I was really good at something, and I was told that, like, if I kept working at this, I would never have to go to college.
Yeah.
And if I did, I could pay for it myself.
Which, in theory, you could. And they were right.
I mean, I was making...
But the part they didn't tell you is that you're selling your soul to the devil to do
pretty
it.
much. Yeah.
You know?
Pretty much.
Yeah, man. I feel you for that one. That sucks, you know? Like, I feel like on a small level I felt that in the soccer world, but, like, nothing to that degree. But I think once people start putting that kind of pressure on you, they're honestly trying to see themselves like, how far can we push this one? Who's in, who's out?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like only the strong survive kind of a thing.
Yep.
And like, no thank you. I'm not. Doesn't that not like make you distrust the government 1,000 times more?
Oh my goodness. We don't even want it. I became a massive conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
When
well,
I was
don't blame
working in
you.
that job, and it got worse when I left. Because I was like, if this is happening here, and it happened that quick, this has to be happening in so many other places.
Everywhere.
Because so the political consulting firm I was hired by had 10 offices in that district. Well, not necessarily district, in that state. Okay? 10 offices in that state. Each office was worth $10 million. Or each office was worth $1 million, excuse me. There was $1 million put into each office, right? We didn't have nice offices. We rented like we would lease like a building from next to Applebee's, in like a sort of kind of suburb of the city that you were in, right? So super cheap, yada yada.
Yeah.
But there is like pay cards being involved, gas cards being involved for like people driving, and so many other things wrapped up. It would be so easy to simply just like not record this or have.
If they're doing that at the level you were at, imagine the next step up.
Well, but then not only that,
Yeah.
there are multiple political consulting firms. That's not the only one. There's hundreds of these firms
Well, you know this shit's
that
going on
do
across the board.
well, but like not. So like there was the firm I was working for this candidate. 10 other firms were doing it for the same candidate. So the number, the amount of money that's being funneled in and not properly being dealt with, but they're making profit, right? Because the amount of data they're getting data, and that's what makes the money. And so it's just whoa, and that's only in the campaign side.
Yeah.
That's only the time period from announcing they're running to election day.
Yeah, so what is it like working for one of these groups during like the actual like
Well, that's not those groups. Those groups are specifically for campaigns.
So they just campaign hopping?
Oh yeah, dude. I was hired. They tried to hire me for the Joe Biden campaign, like right after. This was in November 2018, when Joe Biden hadn't even announced he was running.
I think I remember you telling me about this,
Yeah.
actually.
Which, that's there's a silly word for it, but that's not legal.
Oh, too? Because they hadn't announced the campaign
yes.
yet. Yeah.
God. It starts with an F. It's weird. It's a weird word. I had it on the top of my head because I had like thought about like what I was gonna do, how I was gonna snitch, like all that, you know. But yeah,
How are they getting away with that at that level? How is he getting those people to try to hire you without announcing, without getting in trouble? You know, like it doesn't make any sense how all of this just plays out and no one gets in trouble for shit.
It's very rare. And even then, those people get such little
Yeah, I get lenient
sentences.
Yeah.
They get community service for 3 years instead of it should be a 40-year sentence. You know?
Yes, it should be like life for some of these people. They've ruined millions of people's lives, you know? Like,
That's one of the things that really hit home with me is if a certain pay card reached a certain amount of money, that person would have to pay taxes on that pay card when they don't even have any idea that they're involved in this. So let's say I had
so the idea is to keep
applied for a
spending those
job.
cards so that they're trying to get you to spend them, aren't they? So that they keep the
No,
balances
they're
low.
trying to get you to work more because it's a matter of how much money is being put into the pay card, not about what's being spent.
Yeah,
Do
but
you see what I'm saying?
yeah, but if
'Cause,
they
like,
keep putting it in and you don't spend it, they're gonna have to. These random people are gonna have to pay taxes on it.
well, but that's not how it would work because people would literally just swipe it, cash it out, and then they would have that cash. That's what people did because it was a debit card. You could literally take it to a gas station, and let's say you know how much money is in it. Just type in, "I want that much money cash back." You get it, and then you have it all in cash. That's because that's what they would do.
Okay. So that really wouldn't be a thing very often, but it happened.
Kind of happened often.
Yeah.
It was how you'd be able to cash out.
No, I'm
You know what I'm
saying
saying?
like times that the money would start to roll up and some random person in the world has to pay on it.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. And even then, if that did happen, I feel like if you have a bank, you know, or like the Social Security team of America would be on that.
Would
You
they?
know? But I don't
What
think
competence do they have?
See,
that
I don't
gives-
think they would ever trace it back to like the political consulting firm, but they would probably just like I guess flag it and then it would just go away and they'd fix the problem. I feel like that's how that works. I don't know.
you have more faith in the government than I do.
No, and that's not any faith I have in the government. That's just I feel like that's how that trend that would go. Nobody would ever be held accountable for it. Is the thing, which is a fault of the government. They're not going to hold anybody accountable to that.
None of this shit makes any damn sense. you
There
know?
is zero accountability in all this.
Man.
Because I remember, we would have days, because we would have 30 employees, but 30 of those employees are technically 75, because every employee has 1 to 5 different pay cards under different names. And so I remember we would have these days when corporate's coming into town, and you would have to just like get random people to come in the office, give them a T-shirt, and pretend like they were employees. Give them a name and everything. And if they were questioned, they would have to say that they're this person, which didn't happen, but you had to prepare for it. Yeah. So you just pile in a bunch of people, say that like you're gonna give them food and then a T-shirt, and
It's all perception.
I'll never forget that day. I was so stressed because
Does
I had
corporate not know this shit's going on?
It was probably just like a slid under the rug thing because the thing is, it was the offices that did that got rewarded more because they hit the numbers.
Because they were
The corporate office, as long as they didn't see anything or it was in any way obvious to them, they were probably going to cheer us on. Like, I think I got several raises off the fact that we were putting out good numbers. None of those numbers were legit. But because we were putting out good numbers, corporate was happy.
That's what you just bullshit.
And
the
then that
numbers.
one day that the corporate came in, we had 75 people in the office when only 10
I guess
people really
who
worked
can
that day.
verify the things you're doing?
The government, I guess? I don't know.
No. Like, what are y'all being hired to do?
They were being hired to canvass for this campaign.
And what does that mean exactly?
So canvassing is door knocking.
So how, if I'm trying to measure productivity of my group that goes canvassing, how do you measure that productivity?
Every person would get an iPod at the beginning of the day, and you would have to go out, and you would go out and knock your doors Okay.
And how do they know that you knocked on those doors?
There's an app, and you click on each house. You have like a script, and then you click on their responses. So, did they open the door? Yes. Did they open? No. No. If it was no, then you would just move on. If it was yes,
So you could
it was
easily
like
bullshit this.
this is where it
Are
gets
they location
even, well, this
tracking
is what
as
goes
well?
even further. The thing was, none of the iPods would have Wi-Fi, so it would just have it,
Stored
and you would
all
log
there, and
it,
then you would upload
and
it
then
later.
you would, after the shift was over, I would get all the iPods and then sync them on the network that we had in the office.
Yeah.
So no, they weren't being tracked. And
So you could just go home, sit on the couch,
here,
turn on a movie, and go through the thing.
That's the thing. They told us at the beginning there's a 10-second timer on the app. And we had to tell our employees this, because if in 10 seconds you click from one door to the next,
Within 10 seconds.
you would get flagged.
Yeah.
Because you can't knock 2 doors in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So us telling them that was to tell them that if you do, you get fired on the spot because you'd be flagged.
Yeah.
And that did happen. But telling them that also tells them you can bullshit the data if you wait 10 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how you would be able to have one employee with 7 iPods attached to 7 pay cards, but they can do 700 doors in one day because they're bullshitting the data on the iPod. Like, we had college students who would be in class knocking doors because they're just randomly selecting, they wouldn't say nobody's home
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah, they just
we had to
fuck the data up.
pick up demographic, or we'd have to get like the statistics of usually 30 to 40% of people are not going to be home, or
So you
50 to
you start
70 are not
understanding
going
the
to be
data
home,
that exists out there, and then you start mimicking that data.
and then you can mimic it.
Man.
And so basically, to go further with this, every iPod, let's say it was 100 doors. That's $100. Every door is worth $1. So if you had one employee doing 700 doors, that employee makes $700 in that day.
So $1 a day?
And
Or $1
the firm
per
is
door.
pretty much making double that.
How is... because they're getting paid by
Data's
the...
worth
yeah.
money.
Yeah.
But it's data that's being falsified by a college kid in the middle of their class. They're in the middle of psychology, filling out some doors, making a fat check,
What a...
and it's literally hundreds and thousands of dollars being made out of thin air. Thin air.
I wonder how much of polling comes from this.
How legit is polling? How close has it ever been? Not very close ever.
Not real. I mean, kinda, but I
But
guess
the
they've been
I feel
more
like the
right about
only-
it than they ever were with Trump. Pre-Trump was like, hey, you at least got somewhere in the ballpark. With Trump, they
Even
were just
then.
terrible. They really weren't great. I'm not arguing. They really aren't great. Polls are
This has been
stupid, and
this has been going on for a long
yeah,
time, Jazz.
for sure.
Since you could use a device to create data that was worth money, this has been going on.
Yeah,
And it doesn't only go for politics, too.
nuts, man. It's all just a rigged system,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just playing by the rules.
Yep. Or not. And trying to get away with it for a living.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is very true.
Because that's what that is. Because
Yeah.
those people live on the edge. That boss I had lives on the edge. I could not sleep for 3 months. Imagine that being your whole entire life.
Yeah, no thanks.
No. No.
You know,
No.
and like you work your way up the ranks to just work your way up into like
More corruption.
more corruption, more stress.
And you have to corrupt people
yeah,
in that. When
Yeah.
you're the boss of it,
yeah,
that dude tried to corrupt me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
yeah. See, this like in a smaller sense, like when I worked at Boosa, that's what I felt like I was going down that road. Where like I have to be corrupt to play this game.
Mm-hmm.
I love that where I work and what I do now in software, it's like the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's kind of trying to like make things better.
Yeah.
All the developers in this world are just like, hey, how can we make it better? You know, like we're all just here to make something better, dude. You know, like it's like this totally different atmosphere that like it's almost like all developers are like, damn it, the business,
Right.
corporate keeps telling us no when we just want to do more things. You know what I'm saying? That corruption was just so gone. That's a fucking relieving feeling. Because, like, it's not like I couldn't sleep at night. And I'm not saying that it's anywhere close to that shit, because it really was not. But at the same time, I was like, I'm having to compromise my morals with kids and parents now.
Yeah.
And don't think so.
When you start having to lie to people when you know you shouldn't,
Yeah.
that's when it's not okay.
And people around you feel shady and act shady and are shady.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I think I need to get out of this atmosphere before I know where this leads.
Mm-hmm.
I've been down a lot of roads in my life, and this one's the shady one, and I do not like it. So I'm going to bail now. Like I got deep into it and realized like I'm gonna turn into a big old piece of shit. I don't like this.
Yeah.
So, and like, man, hell of a move. I just feel like
Good move, Chad.
yeah, great move. Like I just so much happier in a sense to get away from that kind of corrupt shit all the time.
Yeah.
Now some people, I feel like get it better than other people, depending on where you are and what you're doing and things like that.
Yeah.
So like not all clubs are the same.
No.
And not everybody's a Ben and a Brower.
I really hope they watch this one day.
I hope so too. God bless me. I'm so annoyed.
I'll probably say it to their face before they can see this, though.
Yeah, I mean, I would not mind saying any of this. I feel like I've said my piece with. I always have a hard time, I guess, in that moment with Brower because it's Brower and it's just like there's so much history there. Ben, nah, not at all.
No.
I feel like I don't even like remotely even hold back from it.
No.
I guess I did a little bit, but
I'll
would
be a
not
jerk
anymore.
to his face. I don't care.
I guess I'm so detached from it now that like I don't give a shit. At the time, I was like, I don't know. I got to play political moves. Blah blah. Like fuck that now.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like. No, my daughter's not playing for you guys. So, no matter what happens. So, I don't give a shit what I say to you guys. Yeah. Anyways, I feel it. Yeah, I feel that shit. Yeah.
Stay away from those sketchy things. It's okay to be honest with yourself and back out when you don't feel something is right.
Yeah. I totally agree with that, actually. That's a really good...
And I was very fortunate that this kind of work was seasonal.
Yeah. So it didn't go on and on and on.
It would have kept going.
Yeah.
And that was no way to live.
Imagine being on the presidential one.
Oh, goodness gracious. I would have been stressed
Of the Annie.
until 2021.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I had done that.
For sure. Yeah, that would have been
And
like...
that was 2018.
That's like, what, 2, 3
That's
years?
3 years.
3 years?
It's almost 3 years worth of stress. And then COVID happened during that.
Around the clock.
There's no way I would have lived through that.
Man.
There's no way. No way. No way. Grateful for everything. Grateful I didn't do that.
I will say, though, it's like the motto I've always said in my life, like, sometimes I have to do wrong to understand right. You know?
Oh, yeah,
so,
for
like,
sure.
those are one of those things where it's like, you got to learn a lot from that.
Oh, yeah.
And it helps you grow the fuck up. And then you move on, and that's really just a life lesson that you went through, you know? That's how I think of soccer. It's just like one 10-year-long life lesson that I went through with these 2 clubs. You know, with 3 clubs, I guess, if you count Hoover there at the very end, too.
Right.
Which really was a lesson, actually.
Yeah. Probably more than
on how low you can go in some aspects, you know? Like, holy crap, like...
The limbo of youth soccer.
This really is that bad, guys. It is that bad.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, shit. All right, I guess you want to go?
Yeah, let's go hit the gym, Chaz.
Hell yeah,
Let's
I'm
do
in.
it.
All right, we're heading off. See
Peace.
ya.
See you next week.